Hi everybody, it's me Jill and welcome to Jill Informed. This is the recap of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, Season 4, Episode 2, Vacation Crashers. Oh my god, you guys, taglines are here and it is not the Bible verses. I didn't really think it was, but I did think that would have been fun. Okay, so we start with Lisa. I'm on a mission to serve Lisa, and I love that for myself. Right off the bat. I'm sorry. Right off the bat, that is hilarious. I mean, it feels pretty like blasphemous or sacrilegious or something, but the fact that her son is on a real mission for 2 years serving God, I just think it's hilarious that she is on a mission to serve Lisa. And she loves that for herself. Well, we are starting off strong, so there's only one way we can go, and that is down, and that we do, because now we have Heather's, and hers is, I own a beauty empire, so I don't need any of your lip service. See what I mean? Monica is next. I keep my friends close, but my secrets closer. Do you, though? You've already told us so much. Your vault seems about as sturdy as Heather Dubrow's. I mean, you're spilling secrets like a drunk Shannon Bedore. Next is Meredith. In a town full of dirty lies. Apologies to Salt Lake City. Everyone can use a bath. Then we get Angie K's. I may be Greek, but don't expect an olive branch from me. And then finally Whitney's. Having faith in myself is the only religion I need. Okay, so episode 2 opens with Meredith and Lisa going for a walk. This is their promised, get together one-on-one to try to mend things. And of course, they're both dressed appropriately for a walk outside, but especially Meredith with her suede 4-inch heel boots and her shiny satin motocross pants, and of course a fur coat. She'll have PETA protesting outside her house in no time. Yeah. How many Muppets had to die to make your coat, Meredith Marks? All right, we get a little small talk about the kids. We learn that Meredith's daughter Chloe is going to college, and she's like, what about Jack? They're like the same age, right? And, well, Jack is going to be deferring for a couple years. Jack is doing a mission for our church. She doesn't know where they're going to send him, but it could be, he doesn't get to pick, but it could be anywhere. And some of the other kids who are doing a mission have been getting their assignments where they're going to go. Like one friend of his found out that he was going to Switzerland. Another found out he was going to Milan. I said, oh my God, Jack, that would be amazing. And Jack said, Mom, it's not a shopping trip. No, but what is it? Switzerland, Milan? I thought you were like helping underprivileged people. I mean, not that there aren't underprivileged people everywhere, but it's just Milan? I feel like, aren't there other places that could use the help more? I don't really understand what they're doing on the mission. Anyway, then we get a fun little flashback to what got Meredith and Lisa in trouble in the first place. Bravo will never miss an opportunity to replay Lisa's hot mic moment. And rightly so. It's amazing. She's a whore. But they both agree to move on, start over. They apologize, and it ends in a hug. Side note, these ladies have the best outdoor winter wear I've ever seen. I love it all. Bright colors, designer, everything. Next, we are with Heather and Wit-Wit at a hot springs thing. It's like a water park with hot water. They talk a little bit about Heather's fresh start party that she had last week. Whitney was surprised that Mary was there, and that Heather would invite Mary. And Heather said, I didn't invite her. I only invited you, Meredith, and Lisa. And they brought friends. So Whitney goes, so you didn't invite Angie K either? And she said, no, Whitney. Why not Angie? I don't understand. And Heather said, well, we've never been close. In Heather's confessional, she said, I've known Angie since Mr. Carter's math class in 10th grade. Then we see a pic from 1992. I mean, neither one is recognizable, but Angie could not pick her out of a lineup, for sure. Heather goes, yeah, Angie had what I thought was naturally curly hair, and then I found out it was a perm. So yeah, I have trust issues. Anyway, Whitney really likes Angie, and she thinks she's a fun friend. And Heather goes, yeah, she's fun, until she's not. The conversation moves to Jack's mission, and that Lisa told everyone except Heather. Heather was a little put out by that. I think she felt left out or whatever. Heather went on a mission herself. Her mission was from 1995 to 1997. And she went with her friend, and it was like they graduated college. They didn't have boyfriends. And her friend was like, I'm going to do this mission. You want to come with? So Heather was just like, okay, I'll do it. Heather said, and then the next thing we know, we're writing our death oaths. Whitney, what do you mean by a death oath? Okay, didn't Whitney grow up in the church too? I mean, I'm not saying every kid went on a mission, but I would think she would know what a death oath was. I don't, but I just thought she would have. Anyway, Heather explains that it's a vow to keep the church's ceremonies secret under penalty of death. So, no big deal. Oh, God. So Heather continues, Lisa likes to tell people that she's Mormon, but the Mormon people that I know wear the garments, they go to temple, they pay their tithing, abstain from coffee, tea, alcohol, and cigarettes. I mean, Lisa owns a tequila company, for God's sake. And she said, and Jack is going to be teaching that brand of Mormonism. I don't think she's prepared for who he might be when he gets home. Oh, geez. Okay, so Heather said, you are basically a door-to-door salesman selling the Church of Latter-day Saints. And it's brutal. It's hard work. It's long hours. You're going from door to door to door. This is kind of making me want to see the Book of Mormon again. So I was so off with he was going to serve God and others. My interpretation of that was like, let's go to some third world war-torn country or something. Let's provide water, food. Maybe we educate the kids. Let's make their lives. That's the stuff that was in my head. Like, I think of a missionary. Oh no, this was just to spread the word. No, this is just going door to door, ringing doorbells. This is exactly why nobody answers their door anymore. I would be pretty upset if I was Lisa. Although, I mean, she's raising him in that religion, so whatever. Anyway, so if you ask me, this little get together with Whitney and Heather isn't going great. I just don't think Whitney is feeling Heather. I think Whitney is trying to not pick a fight necessarily, but she's not willing to just skim over this problem that they had with their relationship last year. She's going to make Heather work a little bit harder for it, and she's going to be kind of calling her out on things. Just being like, okay, yeah, no, Angie and I never really got along. And then Whitney will say something like, oh, really? I think she's really fun. I don't know. It's hard for me to explain it. But it's just a vibe. It's a vibe that Whitney is not feeling Heather, and I'm not even sure why she came other than contractual obligation for the show. I don't know that those two are going to be friends again. Yeah, Whitney just doesn't think that Heather should be inserting herself into what Lisa's kid is choosing to do with his life. And I get that, but I also get Heather being horrified by it, having gone through it herself and knowing what it's like. Yeah. Well, say what you will about Meredith jumping from rental to rental, but this rental is gorgeous. They all were, honestly. But she picked some gorgeous places to live, no matter how temporary they are, even if it's only during the filming season. It must be all that podcast money because, yes, Meredith and Seth have started a podcast. Hanging by a Thread, it's called. Because their marriage is going so great right now that they want to help other people. So let me get this straight. Meredith Marks, the woman who is famous for saying, "Don't talk about my marriage," has started a podcast where she and her husband are talking about their marriage. That's great. Anyway, Meredith has been invited by Trixie Motel to stay at the Trixie Motel. If you haven't seen Trixie's show, it's on Max. It's just one season. It is Trixie had bought this old rundown, dilapidated motel in Palm Springs and was renovating it room by room, working with a designer. And each room has its own like theme, and it's very mid-century modern, very kitschy and cute and very pink and very Trixie and a lot of fun. It's Barbie meets like the Property Brothers or something. It's so cute. Anyway, apparently Trixie has invited Meredith and the ladies. Well, Meredith, she's in charge of this girls' trip to Palm Springs to stay at the motel. So Meredith is inviting Heather, Mary. Well, here's how she says it. Heather and Mary, that's obvious. Whitney and Lisa, and Monica, the new girl. No mention of Angie K. But we do see Angie in this next scene. We are at her house with her husband, Sean, and her daughter, Electra, who is 12, I want to say. Her house, the stunning mountain views out that giant picture window. It's gorgeous. I mean, how could we forget the house? That's where she hosted Coach Shaw's birthday party. And then, sent an invoice. But now we're getting Angie's backstory. When she was 19 years old, she worked in a hair salon, and that is where she met Sean. She's like, I see this hot guy with big muscles blow drying someone's hair, and it was love at first sight. Now, 30 years later, they own 10 salons. They also own a cosmetology school and, have their beautiful daughter, Electra, and a pink and white poodle. So she says that she would like to get back to a good place with Heather. Next, we are at Monica's house, which is much more modest. She is with her mom, and she and her mom are like packing up orders for her baby sheets business. And we learn that she lives 3 minutes away from her mom and her Portuguese grandmother. She likes that her 4 daughters have their grandmother and great grandmother so close, and, they're over all the time for dinner and this and that. Great grandma's like a real spitfire. Anyway, she says that when she was 5 years old, her mother converted to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and she was raised in the Mormon church. But according to her, she struggled with her Mormon experience. Anyway, her oldest daughter comes now to kind of help, or I don't know, she's helping to fold the sheets or whatever. And she tells her mom that she is going on a girls' trip and asks if she can watch the kids for 3 days. And her mom's like, ugh. I mean, I'm good for 2 hours, but after that, my head starts to swell. And Monica goes, I am going to be going with a bunch of girls that I don't really know. I'm out of my league. And her mom goes, in terms of, and Monica said, and then she starts to cry. I went to City Creek and I went into the Louis Vuitton store and I bought a bag because I feel like I want to have something nice around them. Oh, that kind of breaks my heart. Her mom and her daughter are like so sweet right now. Her mom's like, I understand. And her daughter said, it's normal to feel like that, but you shouldn't. You have so many other qualities and you should not be basing your worth off of how much money you have. I love her. And Monica said, yeah, I know that. And honestly, I don't even know why I'm being like this. I'm not usually like this. Anyway, we also learn from her confessional that her dad left when she was 4 years old. She doesn't remember him, and she doesn't even remember what he looks like because when he left, her mother took down all the pictures of him, got everything out of the house, never spoke about him. And all she knows is that her dad is gay, and he and his boyfriend went to Florida. As far as where he is now, if he's dead or alive, she has no idea. Anyway, her mom is telling her now, listen, you just be yourself. You're funny, smart, and gorgeous. Okay, next we are having a double date. It is dinner with Whitney and Justin and Angie K and her husband, Sean. So far it's boring. They're just talking about improving their marriages or something. I mean, if they're really interested, I've got a great podcast they can listen to. It's called Hanging by a Thread. Then we get an interesting shot. Angie tells them that their daughter still sleeps with them. She's 12. And we see this picture of Sean, Angie, the dog, and Electra all in the same bed, which, by the way, may as well be different beds because the bed is about 30 feet across. But yeah, still. Also, you just know that pink dye on the dog is just getting all over that white comforter. She better buy them in bulk. All right, so we talk about how aggressive the snowball fight was. Angie's like, I'm still in pain from when Monica tackled me. But I really did feel like Heather was sincerely trying to extend the olive branch when she was talking about having a fresh start. And Whitney's like, yeah, I can't wait for the girls' trip. Are you going? Angie, wait a minute. Is this all of the girls going? I haven't heard anything about it. So Whitney fills her in. Yeah, Meredith is planning a girls' trip to Palm Springs. Why wouldn't you be invited? And Angie goes, a good question. I've always been supportive of Meredith. They did all the hair for her fashion show. And then Sean says, yeah, and we lost a third of our revenue in that one location that day to support her event. Okay, well, maybe you should send her an invoice. Why do I feel like we're going to hear a conflicting story from Meredith? This is Coach Shaw's birthday all over again. Angie also points out that she also wasn't invited to Heather's event, but she was only there because Whitney brought her. So Whitney said, I'm officially inviting you on the girls' trip. Will you come as my +1? Wait, Whit gets a +1? Does everybody get a +1 for the girls' trip? I have never seen any of the ladies like bring a friend to the girls' trip. Maybe not never. I just can't think of a time that we're bringing a friend. All right. So this next scene is with Heather and Monica, and they are meeting at a consignment shop to get some clothes for this girls' trip. Now, a consignment shop with Heather, that feels a little off-brand to me. I don't see her buying from a consignment shop. I don't know. Maybe she's trying to like match that kind of vintagey feel at the Trixie Motel or something. I don't know. Anyway, Heather is asking Monica how she knows Lisa, and she said that she actually knows Lisa and Angie K through Jen Shaw. Heather tells her that she went to high school with Angie K, but that they're not very close. And she's like, yeah, I don't want anything to do with her. She thinks she's a phony and this and that. And, you know, I mean, she is the one that brought up the Barbie scissor kicks, accusing Heather and Jen of having sex, all that. So she's not, it's not her biggest fan. And Heather actually says, I hope she's not coming to Palm Springs with us. Meredith said she wasn't inviting her, but, you know, I'm hoping. So then, I don't know, Monica says something that makes Heather ask her if she's Mormon. And Monica said, well, sort of. And Heather goes, is there a sort of? And she said, well, I was raised in the church. And Heather goes, really? I had no idea you were Mormon. We really shouldn't have just had that champagne back there, you know? And Monica goes, oh no, we can have that champagne. She said, I was married in the temple and then I was excommunicated. And Heather goes, for Monica, for my brother-in-law for 18 months. And Heather goes, oh my gosh, your husband's brother? No, her husband's sister's husband. So Heather's like, you know, well, how did you get caught? And she said, oh, we didn't get caught. I came clean to my bishop about it because it was eating me up inside. And so, yeah, that's how I got excommunicated. And Heather said, and was he excommunicated, your brother-in-law? No. Heather, they never excommunicate the men. In Monica's confessional, she said, I think Heather and I have the most similar background. And I just think coming clean is the best policy because it's all going to come out anyway. The truth always does. And the power comes from owning your past and present so no one can weaponize it against you. Yeah, good point. Kind of how on New Jersey, Margaret having the affair with Joe, and that's how they met while she was still married to Jan. And we learned that in the first 5 minutes of meeting Margaret. it becomes kind of a non-issue then. The other side of that coin is finding out not until, season whatever, 12, that Bill had an affair. The dirty little secret always makes it worse on the person. Okay, and finally, we get a scene with Mary, and it's a doozy. She is at home with Robert Jr. I'm dying for her to she's on the phone, but as soon as she hangs up, just ask him if he's married. It won't take that long. I'm dying to know. Anyway, she is on the phone, and this is how the conversation goes. Is this the Trixie Hotel? And the voice on the other end says, Motel, yes. Mary's possibly married son is just like lounging in the chair next to her. And Mary goes, oh, Motel, sorry. And she looks at him like, do you guys have 2003 Dom Perignon? There's a long pause. The voice, no. Mary's bug-eyed face is like in disbelief that they would not have a 2003 Dom Perignon. Mary, okay, and do you have room service? The voice says, yes, we have a full bar. And for food, we have like 1 to 2 person shareable pizzas and like cheese boards, but we don't have like a huge menu. And Mary goes, okay, have a great day. Hangs up, looks at Robert Jr. Pizza? And who doesn't have Dom Perignon? Okay, Mary's gonna hate this place. For the record, it's not that kind of a place. It's a tiny, like very niche motel with, 8 or 9 rooms total. It's a very unique little boutique motel. So yeah, there's not a 4-star restaurant attached or anything like that because there's only 20 guests at a time, maybe. It's Palm Springs. I'm sure there are tons of wonderful restaurants in the area. Anyway, the next scene is all the ladies at the airport heading to Palm Springs. Well, all the ladies except Whitney. Meredith says she called to say she's going to be on a separate flight. No one knows why. Well, we do because she's bringing Angie K. But none of the ladies know why she did that. She hasn't spoken to anybody else about it. Side note, I can't believe Angie K agreed to come as an unpleasant surprise. Like she knows people don't want her there. She was purposely not invited by the host. Would you ever, I keep saying this all the time, I feel like, because I know this isn't the first time I've asked you guys, but if I'm not invited somewhere, I'm not going to go. I don't want to be where I'm not wanted. I don't think it's funny to surprise someone in a bad way to see my face. I don't think that's fun. Like, that's not a good time for me. So I'm shocked that, like, Angie K's on board with this. Also, side note, I do feel like soon I'm going to stop calling her Angie K, but it's in my head from last year when we had Angie H, and we had to differentiate between the Angies, and I know we don't have to do that anymore, but, old habits and all. Okay, so you guys, this is Trixie Motel. Do you love it or do you love it? You should have seen it before she renovated. Again, watch the show if you can. Seriously, so good. You know what, you guys? I actually think I might make it my backdrop. And you can see how small it is. Mary's going to hate it. I don't think Mary's going to even get the concept of it or like what Trixie was trying to achieve here with this kind of mid-century modern thing. It's not for everybody, I suppose, but the rooms are just like bright, bold patterns, designs, and colors, and it's fun. It's fun. It's like walking into a cartoon. And Trixie is there to greet them. Now, Whitney claims that Trixie was her friend first. So it's curious to me why Trixie would call Meredith and invite her to come and stay at the motel and not Whitney, if that were true. I mean, Now we cut to Heather, who's like filming this from her phone inside a bathroom at the Palm Springs airport. And you can just hear Lisa going crazy in the background because she lost her ring. She had it. It was slipping off when she was pulling her jeans up. It was like slipped off and she thought she grabbed it. But now when she's looking, the ring is gone and they can't find it anywhere. I mean, she said it was 60 grand, so I get it, but she's losing it. And no one can understand where it went. In Meredith's confessional, she goes, "We searched high and low in that lovely bathroom." And in Mary's confessional, she said, "I don't think it was worth $60,000, first of all." Monica thinks it was stolen. Heather's like, it was Colonel Mustard with the plunger in the third stall from the end. Lisa is talking with airport security now. Question. Did she check her pocket? Because it was supposedly when she was pulling up her jeans and she like curled her hand around. And I'm just thinking when she pulled her hand back out, what if it just like got stuck in her pocket? I mean, stranger things have happened. I'm just saying, if you scoured every inch of that bathroom, then either somebody else who was in the bathroom stole it, or it's someplace weird, like it got caught in your underwear or something. I don't know. So she doesn't find it. I guess security, like they're going to call her if they find it or whatever. And they all get in the Sprinter, and Lisa's like just still so mad, going on and on about it. And Mary just looks at her and goes, well, at some point you're going to have to get over it. And Monica kind of starts to laugh. And Lisa just goes, yeah, well, it's still fresh for me. It's sentimental. And then Heather goes, yeah, anything over 10 grand is sentimental for me. But her husband, she keeps saying her husband bought it for her and she wears it on her, wedding ring finger. But I don't think it was her wedding band, or it was another like band that went with her ring. Maybe it wasn't the whole ring, but it was the part of it that was 60 grand. So. Anyway, back at the motel, Angie, Trixie, and Whitney are talking, and Angie goes, well, we're going to have to fight over rooms, I guess. Good thing we got here early. And Trixie said, but they don't know you're coming. And Whitney goes, it's not a bad thing. She just wasn't invited. And Trixie's like, okay. It's not a bad thing. She just wasn't invited. She's laughing. In Whitney's confessional, she said, I'm fully aware that I'm poking the bear, lighting the match, and then throwing it in the fire. So I don't think that's what she means. Like if the fire's already going and you're lighting a match and throwing it into the fire, I'm assuming nothing really more will happen to that fire because, a match is small. Maybe she means throwing a match on gasoline. Anyway, Whitwit's justification is, if we're going to build trust, we have to burn the house down and start over. Okay, well, two things. One, I don't think that's necessary to build trust, but okay. And secondly, so you're building trust by deceiving everyone, or that's you burning the house down first? You're just helping them to get to like ground zero so that the trust can start building. So it can't start until you deceive everyone by bringing Angie K. Got it. Anyway, now Angie and Whitney are out by the pool, and Whitney is smiling as she wonders if bringing Angie K is going to upset Heather too. I didn't think of that. But she's got a giant smile on her face. And what the hell, Whitney? If you're still mad at Heather, just be honest about it. Don't meet up with her. Don't act like you're going to have a fresh start with her. Just be honest about the fact that you don't like her anymore. Don't do this stuff. Anyway, that is it for this episode. Next week, we get to see even more of Trixie Motel, and I think you guys are going to love it. I think Mary's going to hate it. I really think Mary's not going to understand it, and she just would want to stay at the Four Seasons, and might. She may not even stay there. We'll see. But it's not going to be her cup of tea. But I do think I think Heather's going to love it. Meredith will love it. And I think the others are going to find it fun. And anyway, I can't wait for that. And I hope you guys are there with me. If you liked this recap, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please consider doing that. And if you click on the bell icon, you will get a notification every time I post something new here. For those of you who are new, don't forget, I am an Amazon affiliate. If you go through one of the links down below in my description box, anything you purchase from Amazon doesn't even have to be the thing you clicked on, I will get a small percentage of that. That helps me greatly. Thank you in advance for that. And I love you guys, and I'll see you next week. Bye.